Anonymous question. I was talking to an atheist and they asked if Adam had, I promise you guys, that was my belt on the chair, not some weird noise if you happen to hear that, not some other sound. I was talking to an atheist and they asked if Adam had not yet eaten of the tree of knowledge, therefore not knowing disobedience, how can God hold him accountable and judge him for it? Checkmate, Christians. Yeah, so this is, I love questions like this. Okay. We get trick questions, and it is a trick question, right? We get trick questions all the time. This question is meant to say that there is a plot hole in the garden story, in the story of the fall of man. There's a big plot hole, and the plot hole is when Adam ate of the tree, he didn't even know that it was wrong because he didn't know good and evil. Bum bum bum. Plot hole. So yes, there are lots of non-believers who think that the Bible has more plot holes and contrivances than the Rings of Power TV show. Yeah, but it doesn't. Well, the Rings of Power TV show does. Sorry, it's all Lord of the Rings right here, right? This is what I'm talking about. The Mordor fun run. One does not simply walk. But not Rings of Power. Rings of contrivances. Pretty cinematography and bad writing. But that has nothing to do with my ministry, so I'll move on. So how could Adam know that he shouldn't eat and that it was bad, that it was morally wrong to eat if he didn't know good and evil? I think that the easy response is to say that the phrase knowledge of good and evil doesn't mean, in a wooden and super strict sense, knows nothing at all about the concept of moral right or wrongness. So let me put it to you this way. Those of you who've never done drugs, you don't have the knowledge of drugs. Those of you who've never done the gangbang lifestyle, you don't know the gangbang lifestyle. Adam and Eve did not know good and evil in that experiential sense, as you perhaps don't know drugs or don't know the gangbanger lifestyle, or I don't know what the adulterous lifestyle of cheating on your wife is like, right? Like, I haven't done that. I don't know that. Doesn't mean I don't understand at least the concept of it. Linguistically, I'm able to communicate it, or even more than Adam, we actually know more about the gangbanger lifestyle than Adam would have, even if you haven't committed it, because you've seen examples of it, right? Adam understood the concept of don't eat this tree. God told him, don't do it. You're not allowed to do that, right? He knew it was wrong, right? As Paul says in 1 Timothy 2, like Adam was not deceived. He knew this was wrong. Eve was deceived. He actually knew it was wrong and did it anyway. So he had that moral knowledge. The Bible affirms Adam had that moral information. But Adam was living before this in a world where he had never done wrong. He had never seen anyone do wrong. And it was just moral innocence and perfection. When Adam sinned, he became aware of sin in the deeper way of the person who goes, now I know what it's like to go through this horrible experience. Now I know what the intimate knowledge of rebellion against God feels like, and seeing it in others and seeing it in myself. So I think that's the answer, is that we just don't take the knowledge of good and evil so woodenly. So an example of a religion that does this, that takes the knowledge of evil really woodenly, is Mormonism. In Mormonism, they'll believe that they're taught that Adam and Eve, that one of the reasons they had to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was because they never would have been able to fulfill God's command to be fruitful and multiply unless they ate of the tree. How did they get there? How did they get there that the tree was required in order for them to have babies? Because they think that included in that knowledge of good and evil is the knowledge of how intercourse works. And so in order for them to know how to do those things, they had to eat of the tree, so that really God needed them to do it, to even fulfill his own commands to them. It's a weird thing, and it's connected to other weird things. Mormonism is in all ways a distortion, taking of what is biblical, what is Christian, and then altering it, cutting pieces out, adding other things, distorting the meaning of things. And there's one example of it that is strange and shocking and not biblical.